願いいたします。ネイソン・ジェイ先生です。ネイソン先生は、インターナショナルグローバルエデュケーションセンターの、ディレクターでいらっしゃる、要するに留学生のトップの先生という形になりまして、皆さんが OCC に行ったらいろいろな部分で、なんていうかな、一番サポートしてくれる原点の先生です。そんな先生にね、お話を聞けるチャンスっていうのはなかなかないので、よくお話を聞いて自分のメジャーのことだとか、あるいはクラブ活動とか生活だとか、そういったことに聞いていただくとよろしいかと思います。それでは、ネイソン先生から、まずね、お迎えしてします。Hi, Nathan. Would you start your presentation? Thank you. じゃあ皆さんも拍手。
Yes, thank you very much, Yumiko. It's a pleasure to be talking to all of you today. And I'm looking forward to meeting some of you in the future if you decide to come to Orange Coast College. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and I can tell you what Orange Coast College has to offer. There's a lot of important things about the choice that you make when you're choosing a college to attend. And in the case of a community college, a lot of students are interested maybe in transferring, or maybe you want to get a certificate or an associate's degree. And those things are super important. They're a big part of the decision. But at Orange Coast College, when you come to do those things, which we do very well, you also get an experience that you'll remember for the rest of your life. We always have students, who come back to us saying how much their experience at Orange Coast College meant. And many of those students over the years have been from NIC. So as Yumiko mentioned, I'm Nathan Jensen, Associate Dean of Global Engagement. And it's one of my great privileges to talk to international students, to welcome them to campus and talk to them about OCC. So let's jump in here. So this picture right here is a picture of our planetarium. It was completed, as you can see, in spring 2019. It's a beautiful facility and any student can enjoy it. And it's right next door to the Global Engagement Center where I work. Our community college in Costa Mesa, Orange County, California, is very highly ranked and well regarded. We have a lot of new campus facilities. We just finished a new student union, a new college center building, which has new dining facilities. Our student housing is, just about a year old. And so we just have so many things, the new languages and literature and social behavioral science building. So just so much has been added to the campus. Unfortunately, a lot of that time has been during the pandemic and we haven't been able to use it, but that is changing. We are back on campus with a lot of our services and some of our classes. So let me go on to the next slide here. We have about 1,000 international students now. We have fewer than we did before because of the pandemic, but we expect that to change as the situation around the world improves. So let me talk about where we're located. Orange County, California. It's a beautiful place with beautiful weather. We're not far from some of the best beaches you'll find anywhere. We also have Disneyland is 10 minutes away by car. It's a great environment to study, and it's also a great opportunity to have pleasant time while you're working on your dream or your goals. You can see we have some pictures of some of our international students, and Nathan from Brazil, and Elizaveta, also from Brazil. are, students who have now gone on and transferred to university. Now, when you come to OCC, you have your choice of so many programs. And sometimes students don't know what they want to study. They haven't decided yet. They're still debating about what their goals are. And if that's true for you, that's okay. You can come to OCC and try things and explore. We have many students who come to study with us, and they might start with one major, but they'll change to another one later. So I highly recommend OCC because we have a diversity of programs: architecture, astronomy, business, communications. If you want to be a flight attendant, we have a special program for flight attendants. If you want to learn to actually fly planes, you can do that too. We have a pilot program. We have programs that lead to transfer to universities. We also have programs that are designed more to get a job right after you're finished with that program. And many of our students have been very successful in their goals after attending OCC. You can see right here, this student here who attended OCC, she transferred from OCC to MIT and then got her master's degree from Harvard. And now she lives in the US and lives and works in New York. And we have a number of students with similar stories where they've been able to transfer to prestigious universities and meet their goals and dreams. So I'm going to zero in on some of the majors that we have, like, for example, marine science. Here's a student here who is majoring in marine science. We're one of the few, the only community college in the US with a degree in aquarium science. And we have our own student-run aquarium on the campus. That's very unusual for a community college. And a lot of times it's unusual for a university as well. So students who major in marine science and many other majors get to have hands-on experience with that discipline. So that's one of the things that that's special about OCC, is that we have unique experiences. When students come to our campus, they often think, well, this looks just like a university. And in many ways it is. It has all the advantages of a university, but also the advantages of being a community college, being less expensive and having smaller classes. The arts. We have many students who study the arts at OCC, whether it be dance, music, theater, graphic design, photo, film. Our film program is well regarded, with many students who've gone on to work in the film industry, making TV shows and films, movies. So we've had many students, like it says here, that have been showcased at the Newport Beach Film Festival, which is a very prestigious thing. This student here majored in dance. She transferred to UC Irvine and has done very well there. It's a wonderful place to study the arts. I personally know that for sure. I didn't study at OCC, but I've seen the arts that they do here. And my background is in music, and it's excellent. So I highly recommend that if you are interested in it. Go on to the next one. So we have so many unique things at OCC. And one of them is we have a separate campus that's located in Newport Beach, that's right in the harbor in Newport. And OCC has its own boats, and students can learn to become, work on boats, to learn how to sail boats, to drive boats. And it's a whole area that you can study and then get work in. And it's very unique. OCC also has a crew team. And for those of you that don't know, crew is the boat racing. And OCC is one of the few community colleges to have a crew team. Actually, I think we're the only one. So when our crew team competes, they have to compete against universities, and they always do very well. I think it was a number of years ago, OCC's crew team beat Harvard, you know, which is a very amazing thing. I'm going to stop right there just for a moment. Does anyone have any questions before I go on to the rest of the presentation? There'll be time for questions at the end too, but if you have any now, please let me know.
大丈夫ですか？今までの中で質問ある？ Okay, I think. Please
Okay,
go
we'll
ahead.
continue on and maybe there'll be questions at the end. All right, so next, let's talk about, I mentioned this briefly, airline and travel careers. This student here was an aviation science major. And what aviation science allows a person to do is they can become a pilot. They can become a pilot at the commercial level, you know, where you fly big planes. You can be a pilot, you know, and fly planes, smaller planes like this. It's a special opportunity that not too many people have to teach students how to fly planes. So if you are interested in that, you would come and take your classes at OCC, and then you would do your plane flying, your practice, once you're ready at the nearby John Wayne Airport. So it's very convenient to the campus. Now, I mentioned that part of the reason why students choose a particular college is because of transfer. And OCC excels at transfer. We're always one of the top transfer schools in the whole state of California. We're typically #1 for transfers in Orange County, to UC and Cal State. I'm amazed at how many students that I talk to, and they're going to UCLA, or they're going to UC Berkeley or UC Irvine, really prestigious universities that are not far from OCC. UC Berkeley is pretty far, but students, you know, they want to go to Southern California for a while and then go to Northern California for a while. And it's a great experience for them. So if you have that goal of transferring, you can do that. There's ways to make it easy by planning. You see these little symbols here where it says tag. You know, a tag is a transfer admission guarantee. So many of the UC schools have that. So if you follow the tag, you can get in for sure. You know, UCLA doesn't have a tag, but they have something else called TAP that's associated with being in the honors program. We have a wonderful honors program that helps you in your admission to UCLA. Students that aren't in that program would have a harder time getting in. So it's a great school for students who want to transfer. Now this student here, you see him paddleboarding here. He started the paddleboarding club at OCC. He's from Japan, as you can tell, and it's just an amazing thing that we have students come from Japan and start a club, and that's something I wanted to mention. If you want to participate in different clubs related to your hobbies or your major, there's plenty of opportunity to do that. And if you don't see a club that you want, you can start one yourself. Get some friends together and start a club, and the school actually helps pay for things like the paddleboarding club. The school helped pay for, you know, renting paddleboards or buying paddleboards and things like that. So it's a great opportunity for students to join the clubs and to start one if you want to. This student I'll mention also, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. This student here, Non-Javia, I think some of you may have seen his YouTube channel before. He's, pretty popular YouTuber, and he talks a lot about community college. And he went to OCC and got a really huge scholarship to Texas University. He actually transferred early because he was doing so well. So that's possible for you as well. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen it, check out his YouTube channel. It's very interesting. All right. Another way that a student can set themselves apart and have a great experience while at a college is through student life. And I was talking about the clubs just a moment ago. But in addition to clubs, you can also be on the speech and debate team. You can be involved with esports, with video games. You can be in an honor society. Or like Victoria here, she was a senator in student government. You know, she was able to decide some of the things that the campus did, based on her role as a senator. And she went on to have a really great scholarship to Bentley University. So there's a lot of opportunity to set yourself apart when you transfer to university. In addition to that, you have a great experience. The things that students learn in student government will help you in your career, in your job in the future. It's something you can put on your resume and say that you did. And it's a great, great experience. All right, I told you a little bit about the crew program earlier, but crew is not the only sport that we have. We have a lot of different sports teams, and we've been able to resume our sport. Unfortunately, people can't yet watch them. We don't have an audience, but the sports teams are able to compete, and it's an amazing experience for students who participate in sports. And we've had a lot of international students be on some of the sports teams. You know, this one of the students on here from Japan was on our tennis team, and she did very well. This student, Gabriel, from Brazil, he got an athletic scholarship because he was a water polo player. So there's a lot of opportunity to participate in sport. And then hopefully soon, even if you don't participate, you'll be able to watch them and go to some of the games. It's a great opportunity to show your OCC spirit with other students. Student housing. Now, this is very, very exciting. We've been so happy about this. OCC is one of it's really the only community college in Southern California with on-campus housing. There's other community colleges with housing in Northern California, but they are mostly in like rural locations. They're not near a city, but we're in a suburban area in Orange County, and we have these apartment style units right on campus for students to live in. It's a wonderful experience to live. You can have share your living space with an American student or with other international students. You can just walk to all of your classes and not need to worry about getting to class. There's meal plans that they're adding to the service too. It's an amazing thing to have the best experience at OCC by staying in student housing. So if you decide on OCC, I recommend that you look into staying at the Harbor. The harbor is what we call our housing area. And the students who stayed there have really enjoyed it, though it'll be much better in the future as the pandemic improves, because there hasn't been as much activity on campus as there would be. But as we do more and more things, the housing experience will be much, much better. You know, I can tell you my own cousin is going to move into the harbor this fall. So it's a great thing. So I'm going to go ahead and stop one more time to see if there's any questions before I go to the end of my presentation. Okay, none right now. I'll continue to the end and we'll see what questions we have at the very end. All right. Okay, so for those of you that need it, and I don't know if you will, but if a student would, you know, maybe you don't have the TOEFL score yet. Maybe you're not quite ready to take the credit classes at OCC. You know, we have a program called IEC at OCC. It's an intensive English program. Students can come in and learn English and focus on English. And then once a student reaches the highest level of the program, we'll accept that in place of the TOEFL score. So it's a great opportunity to learn English and be a part of the OCC community while you do. The students who are in the intensive English program, they actually have their classes right on campus. They have access to the library, to the clubs, to the health center, everything that other students have access to, the intensive English program students do as well. So if you need it, this is a good way to improve your English and get yourself, you know, into the US, get yourself immersed in everything so you can learn English quickly and be a part of OCC sooner. So the cost of attendance, it's about, you know, 8,000. It's actually a little more than that. The price has gone up recently. It's closer to 9,000 for a year for tuition and fees. And the cost of housing is about 15,000, the supplies and everything. This is how much it costs to stay. California is a more expensive area, but there are opportunities. If this seems like too much for you, there are opportunities to save money in various ways. Students often work on campus. Students will stay and do apartment share. If you share with enough people, that makes the cost go down. So it's something to look into. If you just talk to us. If you have any concerns about anything, we can help you manage the expense. But when it comes to that, I think it's very affordable to stay in our housing, because our housing actually includes a lot of things that you'd have to pay for separately if you were staying in an apartment, like internet and water and electricity and things like that are just included in the price. When you say sharing house, now the student housing is on campus, but if you do apartment share, the apartments can be in a lot of different places. There's a lot of apartments right near the campus that people rent, but the campus housing is right on campus. It's very convenient. And most of the students in the campus housing are sharing with other students. You know, that's part of the arrangement. There are some studios in there where it's just one person in a studio by themselves, but most of the students are sharing. And that's, you know, the best opportunity. But if you share an apartment, like there's an apartment across the street from OCC, you could share that apartment And what some students do to save money is they might, have two students sharing a room, another student sleeps in the living room, and things like that. There are ways that students try to save money. But there's the housing right on campus, and there's a lot of places nearby to live as well. Another thing I'll mention is you can also, if you want to stay with an American family, there's a homestay opportunity. In that program, we have a number of different homestay companies that we work with. They will match you with a family in the US, and you stay in their house in one of their rooms. So that's a wonderful experience, once again, to where you can practice your English because you're living with an American family. You get to see how Americans live, though America is very diverse. So depending on the family you stay with, it might be very different. But it's a good opportunity too. And the homestay is a little bit, maybe about $900 a month. So it's pretty affordable for students who want to do homestay. All right. So the last thing that I'll talk about on my presentation before we get into questions, and I hope you have a lot of questions because I'm ready to answer them, is the Global Engagement Center. That's my office. We're there to help international students with whatever they need. And that's what we're always telling students this before they come, when they come, after they start attending. We say that, whatever they're having questions about, you can reach out to us and we will help you find the answer. So like we have counselors that are right there in the office that will help you decide what classes to take. We have advisors that will help you with your F1 visa and your I-20 documents that you need to stay in the US. We have other students who work in the office who are, maybe they've gone to OCC longer and they can tell you about their experience at OCC and give you tips about being successful. We can help you buy insurance. We help you, if you have a difficulty in one of your classes, we can provide assistance for that too. So the Global Engagement Center is a dedicated space for international students, and it's a very high priority for OCC. A lot of colleges will have offices that will do some of what I described, but it's very rare to have an office like the Global Engagement Center, which is right in the middle of campus, right across from the library and next to the planetarium, that is dedicated to international students. It just shows that international students are very important to Orange Coast College. So that really is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to stop sharing so we can see each other. Now's the time to ask any questions you have about anything. And it can be a question about OCC specifically or about college in general, about the US education system, anything at all. I'd be happy to answer, because the most important thing to me is that you find the path that matches with your goals the best. What is your dream and what's the best way for you to achieve it? I hope it's Orange Coast College, but if it's not, I want to help you anyway. So please go ahead and ask any questions that you have.
はい、どうぞ皆さん、何でもぜひいっぱい聞いてみてください。直接ね、質問できるっていうのはなかなかないチャンスなんで、ぜひどうぞ。
Can I ask something? I'm thinking about majoring physics at UC Berkeley in the future. So do you think it's a good idea to take OCC programs, or is there any good college to go?
Yeah, so if you're going to major in physics, you can major in physics at a lot of colleges. You know, a lot of colleges have that option, including OCC. So if you major in physics and you get very good grades, that's very important. UC Berkeley really wants very good grades.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you understand that. And then you get very good grades, and then you do the other things that I mentioned. You know, you get involved in the clubs, you get involved in student government. You know, there was, I used to advise part of student government. And that part of student government was the financial part. And many students in the financial part of student government actually transferred to UC Berkeley from OCC. All different majors, some, you know, a bunch of different majors. So getting involved is very important along with the good grades. And you could definitely do that at OCC. There's no advantage of going to a college located near UC Berkeley versus going to OCC, which is not near UC Berkeley. The most important thing is what you do while you're there. If you participate in all these things and you get good grades, then you'll be able to get into UC Berkeley for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
はい。他にはいかがですか？自分が学びたいメジャーありますかとか、そんな質問でもいいですよ。クラブのこととかね。ないのかな？
I want to ask one more things.
Yeah, of course.
Is it possible to get scholarships at OCC?
I'm glad you asked that question. We don't have scholarships. We have some scholarships specifically for NIC students when you first start, okay? And that will go through NIC. We work with them to award those. But then in addition to that, we also have scholarships every year for continuing students. And our scholarships are up to $600,000 worth of scholarships that we give out every year. And the scholarships, there's one application and a lot of international students get scholarships every year. But you have to apply. Some students don't get them because they don't apply. But students who apply, a lot of them get some scholarships. Some get a lot. The students who are involved get more scholarships than the students who are not involved. And then a neat thing about OCC scholarship is if you're ready to transfer, say you achieve your goal and you're going to go to UC Berkeley, you can take the scholarship that we give you in your last year with you to help pay for UC Berkeley. So there are scholarships every year, and then there are some special, you know, NIC scholarships that we give out to a few NIC students when they first start.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I add for the scholarship?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. 日本語で言います。OCC はね、他の、なんていうのかな、低傾向の学校も奨学金ってくれるんですね。ただ OCC の、そのなんていうか総額っていうのは他の大学と比べ物にならないくらいもらえます。なので、進学する人数に応じて、またそのスカラシップの、出願によってその金額っていうのは変わってきますが、チャンスは多い学校だと思ってください。はい。Thank you.
All right, other questions?
青柳くん、手挙げてたよね。
Actually, I want to take pilot course. So, is the tuition more expensive than other courses?
You know, it is more expensive because you pay the tuition while you're taking the OCC classes, but there's also an extra cost for the flight lessons that you take. So it is more expensive for the pilot course. And we're working on that. We're working trying to make it less expensive, but right now it is more expensive, but it's a great competitive program in terms of the cost. You know, anywhere you go, it's going to be pretty expensive for the flight lessons, part of it. So that's why it costs more.
How expensive?
It's an additional $15,000
$15,000.
for the flight lessons. Yeah.
Thank you.
はい、他には大丈夫ですか？はい、ちなみにね、この写真は OCC の写真です。OCC のエリアっていうのはとってもね、綺麗で開放的で、本当に素晴らしい校舎。なんで、行って、うわ、これがアメリカの大学だっていうことを感じれる学校の一つです。2年生大学だとそういう感覚が薄い学校もあるんですが、OCC は間違いなく、いや、いい学校選んだなと思える、施設の面もね。で、中身の面でも、先ほどメイソン先生があったように、同じクラス、同じソサエティっていうのがあって、同じのクラスを取ると、さっき例えばバークで行きたいときっていうの、例えばサイコロジーのただのクラスを取るよりは、同じのサイコロジーのクラスの方を取った方が、評価よく見られたりとかってこともあるので、それも要素の一つかと思います。なので、そういうのを考えながら、学校選びもぜひしていただけたらいいかなと思います。はい、大丈夫かな。他に何か質問ありますか？could you, there is a chat, the message question in the chat.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, so you want so the question on the chat is about the clubs. The clubs are, there's a lot of variety in the different clubs that are on the campus. So I'll give you an example of some of the clubs that exist. I already mentioned like the paddleboarding club, and that club is very simple. They just go together to paddleboard. And if someone wants to learn to paddleboard, the other club members teach the people who want to learn. Another club is like the International Volunteer Club, or there's also Circle K. Both of those clubs will do volunteer activities. So they'll do beach cleanup, you know, to make the beaches clean, or they'll, you know, serve food for people that are having on hard times and they don't have enough food to eat. They'll do different kind of things to help people that need help. Both of those clubs do that in that, you know, activity. There's clubs related to various majors. There's a business club. There's clubs regarding hobbies like anime. There's an anime club that's very, very popular, a huge club on campus. There's a gamers club for people who like to play video games together. So just so many clubs. And then what you can do when it comes to the clubs is you can be a leader in the club. So someone could be president of a club or vice president or secretary. So they help the club in various ways, and that gives them good experience in addition to participating in whatever the club is doing. So that kind of tells you what the clubs are about. And then when it comes to taking psychology, you can definitely take psychology. That's a common major that students choose. You can take physics, all of the human sciences, you know, they're available at OCC. So definitely you can take those subjects at OCC and major in them or transfer in them.
はい。
Did that answer your question? Yamazaki?
あっくん。ラックン大丈夫かな？あ、OK。
Okay. Okay. So, does anyone have any other questions? I'll tell you that it's things. The pandemic has been very challenging for everyone, for us here and for you in Japan. But one thing that has been clear to me is that OCC has really come together to help each other during the challenging time. And in particular, we've come together to try to help our international students. Some of our international students had difficulties, and we were able to provide special funding to help them pay for their bill. When the US government was changing its rules, we were going to help the international students make sure that they could stay in the US. So we're looking out for all of our students. It's something that's very important to us.
Thank you, Nathan. 本当に質問ない？大丈夫？
I'm going to put my email in the chat, so you all have it. If you just copy this email address, you can email me anytime. I like to hear from prospective students who are interested in OCC, particularly those from NIC. I've been honored to visit NIC many times, and it's great to hear from NIC students. So if you have any questions for me about anything, please email me.
Thank you very much. 本当に大丈夫？じゃあ何かあったらネイサン先生にメールしていただいてという形でよろしいでしょうか。はい。今日はね、Thank you, Nathan. It was great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's kind of the dinner time. However, thank you for joining us.
Glad to
Thank
be
you.
here. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。Thank you. Thank you very much. はい、お疲れ様でした。ちゃんとね、質問した方がいいよ。せっかくのチャンスです。NIC 生が本当に NIC 生だと試されている時だと思ってください。で、夏の間でね、英語話す機会もないんで、ぜひ次回、セッションに出た時にはどんなつまんない、ちっちゃなことでもいいです。ハウジングいくらなのとか、こんなクラブあるのとか。ぜひお話をして、先生に、やっぱり内申請は違うんだなというところを見せてほしいと思います。他のね、セッションでは比較的クエスチョンが多かったんで、ぜひ、今回初めてという人もその気持ちでね、次回参加してほしいと思います。よろしいでしょうか。何か質問とかありますか？大丈夫？ご存知の通り、Facebook でご案内しているように、クラス自体は30日の日からスタートです。アカデミックの人を除いてね。30日の日は教科書配布になってますので、教科書を取りに来てもらって、その後2週間は自己隔離ということになります。つまりはもう30日には東京に来ていてほしいということです。で、東京に来て、オンラインでクラスを受けることによって、コロナもしになっちゃってたらその間に回復してもらうっていう機会になるので、ちゃんとね、そのあたりを意識して、その2週間は、不要な外出を控えていただいて、過ごしてください。大丈夫でしょうか。で、アカデミックの学生さんは、この後おそらく近々南保さんから連絡来ますけれども、24日、26日は、オンラインの、授業がスタートします。TMCC の方の授業がスタートしまして、9時からかな。授業をスタートすることになりますので、時間の確保の方をお願いいたします。しのちゃん、クラスメートに伝えておいてもらっていいかな、一旦は。詳しいのは後ほど来ますが。ありがとうね。よろしく。はい、どうもありがとうございました。 れ様です。